Yo, it's Venom, and I'm finally catching up on my Honkai Chronicles. So I know I haven't posted about Honkai Chronicles in like 2 weeks. I know. But I'm gonna watch these last 3 that I haven't watched. Started with Otto Apocalypse. We're gonna finish these out and then see what's next for us in our Honkai journey, I guess. Let's just get into it. Let's go. Don't know what to expect from these last 3, but I said I need to finish these if I'm gonna get into this game.
Life is but a walking shadow, a clumsy actor gesturing on the stage.
Oh, I forgot about this.
Who only appears briefly and steps off in silence.
Okay.
Otto Apocalypse, the most pathetic fool alive.
Dang! Violated him off the rip?
Schicksal overseer. He is a corrupt, bigoted clown. Over centuries, he once sacrificed lives beyond count for his selfish desires, but also
so they going straight with the villain route. No understanding.
He treated humans as pawns and trampled the
no trying to get me to sympathize with him.
But treasured Valkyries at the front line and prayed for their triumphant return.
Oh,
Commitment and betrayal, friend and foe, truth and lies. No one has ever seen through him, but to Otto himself, his actions only served one purpose.
To bring back old girl.
It all began in an afternoon 500 years ago.
Colin? Oh, we're getting lore about this man.
Otto was born in the 3 houses.
Oh, that was him?
And sickly. He could only craft
from the animated thing? That was him?
Which naturally deprived him of inheritance. His older brothers detested his effort at self-destruction, but no one noticed his inner needs and desires.
Dang, just left my boy to figure out it for himself?
A blue-eyed girl brightened Otto's cold and dull heart like a ray of sunshine.
Oh, now
I'm
okay.
Sincerely, expected great inventions from him, and invited him to save the world with her. For the first time in his life, young Otto felt recognized. He could be expected. He could be needed. Since that faraway afternoon, everything he did has gained meaning because of her validation. But the twisted fate would not spare them. The rampant plague and the failed crusade tore the prosperity they lived in apart. Power and force were the perfect fuel for greed, turning a shaky faith into the breeding ground for degeneracy. In the turmoil, the lives of the 2 reached a turning point. Fearing abandonment, Otto chose to disregard ethics and performed experiments on dying patients. He sought findings at all costs. Callan, who could not condone his crime, became a raven at night to spread hope.
Why her eyes so damn big in that visor? Oh my God, why did they make her eyes so big?
To the justice in her heart, but lies were lies. After many operations, Callan discovered the secrets of the human experiments, and Otto exposed himself at the last minute. Before the infinite greed of Schicksal, individual will was nothing. Callan was imprisoned. The cold bars separated the 2 that were once childhood friends, yet their minds
she was trying to stop him from
apart. To Callan, the dignity of life was what she had sworn to defend.
And this man just said, forget it.
Morality and ethics were only prices to be paid. A loud slap and a conflict of beliefs sent them on completely different paths.
Jesus.
Otto knew that in no way could he stop Callan. He accepted it and helped her escape in silence.
So he still helped her, regardless.
After everything settled, Otto was given the key to the library. Although Void Archives used the index permission as a bait in an attempt
This is actually really cool, these 2 cubes. This looks really cool.
Otto did not fall for it. He developed technology with pieces of knowledge, and thus a game that would last centuries began. In the days that followed, Otto searched for Callan while continuing his research and experiments.
Why'd you let her go if you just gonna start looking for her again?
Callan was in danger in Yai
Village.
He immediately had Oath of Judah delivered, but not the response letter that spoke his loving heart. Meanwhile, Callan sealed the Herrscher of corruption in the black box with Oath of Judah,
Okay.
but was severely wounded. She was taken back to Europe by Schicksal for a trial.
But did he
Callan
start
was
performing
faithful
on her? Performing
and refused to
trials on her?
sacrifice for family feuds, and thus was sentenced to hanging. Otto tried everything he could, but it was futile before the church's will. On the day of execution, the desperate Otto released Honkai Beast on the execution ground.
So he did
planned
this
to take
himself.
Callan amid the chaos, but he underestimated Callan's resolve.
And she got herself
In
killed
the
fighting
end,
that thing.
Callan lost her life when protecting the people.
Dang!
Losing the love of his life painted Otto's world gray again. Resentful, he chased after Callan's shadow. He tried to give this sad story a happy ending as she would have wanted. He sounded the horn of revolution with his wisdom and cleansed the remaining evil with his hands. People sang his accomplishments and soldiers admired his resourcefulness.
Jeez, man,
As
this is
cheers of
crazy.
victory echoed through the silent church, Otto could not help but ask himself if this was enough.
He's such a
In the
conflicted villain.
centuries that followed, the hole inside Otto was still agape. The only way to mend it was to revive the love of his life and the holy maid of the people, Callan Kaslana.
So that's when he made the decision, I'm a reviver. Okay.
In 1496, Otto had
1496?
no choice but to travel to Shenzhou in search of the legendary Master Phoenix for a chance to revive Callan. He met the fledgling swordswoman Li Sushan and found the reborn Fu Hua. But to his surprise, even an immortal celestial had regrets and could not bring back departed souls.
Okay.
In the end, Otto and Fu Hua made a pact. Schicksal would protect Shenzhou in the powerless Fu Hua's place, and Fu Hua would serve Schicksal as a Valkyrie.
Yeah, remember that from when I watched hers.
In 1952, the first Honkai
100,
eruption broke
400,
out.
400 years later.
Schicksal captured the amnesiac first Herrscher and performed 3 years worth of serial experiments
Oh my
on him,
God.
which yielded nothing. Otto even approached him in person to persuade him into succeeding to the Schicksal Overseer, but failed. To eliminate risks, Otto decided to wipe out the North American branch that was about to discover Schicksal's ugly truth. He launched Honkai fission missiles at New York, where tens of millions lived. Heroes defending freedom and justice stepped forward and crushed Otto's scheme at the cost of their lives. This led to the independence of anti-entropy.
So wait,
This
he's the
failure
reason
taught
for
Otto to take hold of the power
literally
to retaliate
everything?
Honkai, which led to the Clone Project and the Artificial Stigma Project. In 1972, Otto began running forbidden clone experiments in the hope of reviving Callan, but the results were not satisfactory. After injecting the cells of Honkai Beast Vishnu, the first living batch of Callan clones was born.
Kiana.
Otto made them fight one another to death at the end of the
Oh,
survival
whoa,
test.
never mind.
Only the individual numbered A310 rejected this absurd order. Her
Who was
kindness in
that?
valuing life and her courage
that
to
Keanu?
defy
No.
her maker shocked Otto. He took A310 into his family and named her
A310.
Teresa Apocalypse.
Oh, Teresa.
Otto established the Tower of Babylon.
I swear I've heard that
laboratory to
name
study
said in another
artificial
video.
stigmata.
At least I know what she
Countless
looks like.
gifted children were taken from their parents and subjected to inhumane experiments day and night.
Oh my.
Insurmountable suffering and hatred against humanity nourished these Honkai vessels. At last, Siren, the second
Siren.
Herrscher, was born.
Dang.
Otto mustered Valkyrie troops to subdue the Herrscher, dived into her sentience with the help of Fu Hua, and received revelation from the will of Honkai. After many great sacrifices were made, Otto gave the order to launch Honkai fission missiles at Siberia to bury the truth deep beneath the scorched snowfield. Otto's resurrection project gradually took shape due to the guidance from above. For several years, Otto tried to create the most promising clone with Kiana Kaslana and Siren's genes for the second Herrscher to possess upon return. He transplanted the core of the second Herrscher to the test subject numbered K423. The longing for Cecilia gave her life. After being taken to Saint Freya by Himeko, the love
so
she
this is the
felt
Kiana
and
we
the
follow.
bond she made
Yeah, okay.
helped her learn to love this world and those around her. Watching Kiana move along the path he designed, Otto knew when she began to believe she would never be alone was when he could advance the plan.
Damn.
In the
That's
illusory
sick.
Tower of Babylon,
That is
the girl's
sick.
despair and longing for motherly love facilitated
Illusion
the Herrscher
Tower?
persona's awakening. Fuhua took her back to Schicksal.
But she
The
had
experiment
already.
pod confined her once again. Facing the pod, Otto's eyes only showed a hunger for the Herrscher of the Void's power. As Otto injected enormous Honkai energy into K423, Herrscher of the Void returned.
And that's what made Serum return, yep.
Otto saved the dying Fuhua
Damn.
and told her his plan. Looking into Fuhua's furious eyes,
Did he
Otto
pop her?
paused for a short yet long moment and pulled the trigger.
Jesus.
Everything went according to his plan. Himeko burned up herself to tear through Siren's will.
So this was
Kiana's
all according to
sentience
plan.
returned to the body of the Herrscher. To obtain a Herrscher of the Void who could command the power with human will, Otto trampled emotions and disregarded lives. Otto believed that love and emotional bonds could evoke miracles, but he never respected nor honored them. So far, Callan's revival was only missing a key: Cosmic Juggernaut's beacon.
Okay.
Previously, to reach the imaginary tree that governed how worlds worked, Schicksal cracked the legend of King Arthur and found the key of infinity that offered space travel in the River Thames.
And does that set
But
up
it was
Star Rail?
incomplete. Durandal passed Pioneer Sue's test by chance and received information and experience as numerous as sand grains in the Ganges.
Okay.
To complete Cosmic Juggernaut, Otto struck a deal with World Serpent's leader. He traded Void Archives for Cosmic Juggernaut's beacon. When the Herrscher of Dominance and Hyperion were locked in battle, he took the Theater of Domination and thousands of cores in secret. At last, the fully prepared Otto returned to the beginning.
So then he.
Holliston, where Schicksal's blood and tears were buried. It
Uh-huh.
would become the end of his long journey. On the other side of the stage, Valkyries had readied themselves as well.
Durandal.
Teresa would succeed as the Schicksal Overseer and lead
Oh,
the
okay.
newborn Schicksal toward a bright future. Bronya would shoulder the weight of the Welt name, for the Herrscher of Reason's path had stretched to her.
Okay.
Fuhua concluded a feud that spanned centuries, so she could embrace yesterday as a human and open the door to tomorrow.
Okay.
Kiana broke free from the shackles of fate and created a trail of flames that would guide
Created
them
her own
forward
destiny,
with her
yep.
friends. Durandal broke through the barrier of Kaslana and earned a new heritage that only belonged to her.
Okay.
Valkyries were eager to settle accounts with Otto.
So they basically all got
Indeed,
themselves
they
right,
won.
and now they gotta fight Otto.
Their crushing victory was a heavy blow to Otto.
And then they beat
What
Otto.
they did
Okay.
not know was that their growth, their resolve,
Uh-huh.
and even the joy of winning
Was what
were
he needed?
also part of Otto's
That's what he
plan.
needed to win. Okay.
What he planned for in the past 500 years was but a bargaining chip to attain death and a new life.
So he wanted
After
to
being
lose?
defeated by Valkyries, Otto broke free from Imaginary's control momentarily.
And went
He
back in
imbued
time.
the
Yup, and went
world's
to.
wedge
Yeah, I knew
with
it.
all the false god's power to create infinite possibilities for Callan. As Otto left his last message, his sentience finally dissipated in the still time-space.
So he basically saved Colin and lost his own life. So he basically traded his life
To
for
different
hers.
people, Otto perhaps means different things. But to Otto himself, all rights and wrongs are transient.
So he had to be a
Has
bad guy to
attained
save who he
eternal
wanted to
peace.
save.
his life as a fool is finally over.
Dang, that's crazy. So he had to play the villain to get what he needed. And that was, you know, saving his girl. Dang, that's fire. I like that. That was Tuffington. And that's when they were kids. So now those animated shorts make a lot more sense. Huh. I like that. I like that a lot. All right, so hear me out. 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 So I recorded this already. I watched it. I watched Bronya's, and my audio wasn't working. Play the clip. Huh? Wait, whoa, slow down. Kaslana's. So now I'm going to rewatch both of these. Listen, I don't know how I'm gonna do this yet. I might just pick my favorite moments. I don't know. But I'm excited to now rewatch Durandal's Equinox Crusade, the journey of Durandal, for y'all. It is 11:13 at night. So if I start whispering, it's because I don't want to wake this house up. And then we won't get no video. What do you mean by that? Also, happy Spider-Man Day. Alright, so we open in our eyes. When the girl woke on a sick bed in 2008, she saw a man who was blonde. See, I can't read again. Me trying to read late at night not gonna work. I already know from rewatching it that Otto Apocalypse found Durandal, and he believed that a side effect of her treatment was that her memory got wiped clean, and she has no memory of who she was. Led by this doctor, the girl picked out a new name for herself, Bianca Atagentia Nina, whatever. She did not know her fate had been rewritten. So I already know Otto Apocalypse was setting up some dastardly scheme to take over the world, and he needed her. This is what tripped me out, knowing that her name was Kiana, like she's the original Kiana. Why didn't y'all tell me that in the comments? Why am I just not hearing about that? She was blessed and expected to do great things, yet the second eruption took everything away from her. Ooh. Cecilia was killed in action 7 years later. Oh, this shit is crazy. Due to an accident related to the Herrscher of the Void, the girl experienced what was the last, and she was an orphan. They go too fast. They speak too fast. Her life in the orphanage was bland until she met a Valkyrie assault squad leader, Ragna Labrick. Now, this is one that I don't really understand. Don't know who she is. Angel spreading goodness. And in Siberia, the winter of 2010, the woman as cheerful as the summer sun left this world. Now, is that when Otto Apocalypse? Can I pause? This is what I be talking about. Pause. Now, is that when Otto Apocalypse dropped a bomb on Siberia? Is that what happened there? Is that the same thing? Yeah? No? Maybe so? Okay. Can I play? To accomplish the mission that Ragnar could not, Bianca swore to become Shiskel's strongest Valkyrie. When taking the Valkyrie admissions test, I see now I was reading too slow. Thought they didn't know each other at the time. Though they didn't know each other at the time, through a mission of the Sea of Quanta, on February 29, 2012, 12-year-old Bianca and Rita, who were appointed, they found the bubble universe at the Sea of Quanta. See, I remember. And then they took, she who told Bianca about Europe in this bubble universe surrounded by the wall of Asgard. Okay. The walls vaporized any living being that touched it, which was made worse by the fact that they were expanding. In a matter of time, they would have devoured the whole world. So does that mean that it would just protect Europe and that it would spread out? Or would it destroy Europe? I'm confused about that. As a result, the 7 magical gems were scattered across the world. And then I remember Bianca, she got all of the 7 back, restored the blade, and destroyed the wall of Asgard. Okay, so Bianca and Rita boarded for Saldonia. Okay, and embarked on an adventure that followed the 7 gems with Shakespeare's crew, and that's how she got all her friends and lived a nice life. Finally got the blade back together, found all the gems and destroyed the wall of Asgard. She did that. That's what she do. I don't know how this is gonna work. I'm not gonna lie. I'm very nervous as to how this video is gonna work. I really hope y'all like my new interpretation, since I already know what's going on. So this is just me. You know, me and you. Let's get back to it. Luckily, fellow passenger Dr. Schrödinger had an idea. She pointed out that they could use the holy blade Durandal to the external forces that Bianca would keep intact. As long as Bianca lived, the bubble universe would not perish. And I really do like that concept. I really do like. Can I pause? I really do like that concept that they put a bubble universe in Durandal because she has such a nice heart that they were like, you know what? Take a universe. But Bianca did not hesitate, saying, "Isn't this the world of the way of the life of a Valkyrie? For those that I love. Those that I love. For all those that can truly be called human. They have touched my heart." I respect that. So her and Kiana are really just alike. I mean, they are the same person, but you know what I mean. The girl chose Durandal as her middle name. So Bianca Durandal, whatever that last name is, y'all know. Linking the bubble universe to the imaginary tree to prevent its fate from joining its protectors became one of Durandal's life goals, and Otto knew all about that. So now I'm realizing by rewatching this, so her goal is to connect the pocket universe to the infinite, the tree, so that if she dies, the universe still lives on. Is that the goal she's going for? Let me know if I'm right about that. More importantly, to live up to the responsibilities to keep her promise to that world, Durandal, dang, I'm reading fast now, began disciplining herself harshly in everyday life to become a better soldier. She even shaped her personality into one that was steely and sensible. She cut off once a boisterous and somewhat prideful girl, she became unapproachable and aloof. Yeah, she basically cut everybody off. Yeah, this is exactly why Durandal became Shikskall's youngest and strongest S-rank Valkyrie in history, as expected. She tough, I'm not gonna lie, I really fuck with her. In 2015, when Durandal became 15 nominally, Otto seized this chance to give her the key of creation, Abyss Flower. And I take it that's her lance. At this time, she did not know how weighty an inheritance of that weapon was to her. I really like Durandal. In the same year, and on Otto's orders, Durandal and Rita secured Cosmic Judgment, the second divine key, in London together. When attending the test firing of the second divine key, Durandal was put into a bubble universe called Sumeru. Now look, what you mean by that? What you mean by that, gang? Explain that to me. Put that on paper for me. What do you mean she went to Sumeru? She went to the Genshin Sumeru? Or is this a different Sumeru entirely? Because I know Starfield is different than Honkai Impact. They're both have same characters, different universe. Does that mean that she went to another Sumeru in a different branch that's just like our Sumeru? Because the background looks kind of the same. So I'm curious about that. By a pioneer called Su, who forced her to undergo trials based on his experience, during which Durandal's simple and direct passion parted Su after his conflict with Kevin. Su decided to have Durandal deliver his plans of salvation to Otto. Okay. Fully harness the power of the bubble universe within. Henceforth, Durandal began cooperating with Otto to test reaching the imaginary tree. To make leaps forward, Otto needed assistance from the Herrscher of the Void and even Kevin. In 2016, Otto revived the Herrscher of the Void, Siren. Yep, got her out for whatever reason, and world peace was threatened once again. In 2017, after receiving the Artemis report from Rita, Durandal came to Arc City to rescue Rita and recover Kiana, which Kiana, the whole thing in Arc City, where she blew up that thing and used the powers of Siren but stayed in her human form. Yeah. Durandal used the Abyss Flower to put a giant tree around Kiana, protect her. This is when May pulled up trying to take back and save Kiana, but she couldn't beat Durandal. After confirming that Rita was safe, Durandal took Kiana to the VENOM labs, where from Durandal's point of view, what? Kiana controlled the power of the Herrscher of the Void, and therefore it was vital for Otto to use her. Okay. Later, the labs were assaulted by World Serpent, which I don't know if at this point they're working with Ma yet, and the first meeting of the sisters ended in chaos. I do like that they refer to Kiana and Durandal as sisters, even though Kiana is a clone of Durandal. I think that's super cool, because it just shows that, like, at least if Durandal referred to them as sisters, that she still respects Kiana enough to not be like, you're weird, you're just a clone of me, and actually see her as her own person and see her as her sister. Because are they even the same age? Would Durandal be the big sister to Kiana, or would it be, you know, they're the same age? I don't really think they're the same age though. Who cares? But for Otto, the incident only served to prove the Herrscher of the Void's strength and felicity his historic alliance with Kevin, the World Serpent leader. Durandal could not have known Otto had completed the design to resurrect Colin. He was waiting for the right moment. Yeah, he was waiting to do all this for Colin. He did a lot for Colin. To not even be with her, just to make sure she doesn't die. And then this is when they fought the puppet, I guess the puppet master. I really don't understand this. I kind of feel like this is like a side story. Otto went missing after encountering the Herrscher of Sentience. Durandal, who minded Chisco, she talks so fast sometimes. I have to pause and repause a lot of this, and I'm not doing it this time. I already know what happened. One day after defeating the Legion, Otto suddenly returned to Chisco, well-prepared, Bubble Universe and Imaginary Tree. In any case, it meant the girl finally had the chance to accomplish what the name Durandal stood for, which was connecting the Pocket Universe to the Imaginary Tree. She could not separate the Bubble Universe without the help of an old friend, Blade Durandal. What is Blade Durandal? What? She found a way to share her burden with another. The girl was alone, no more her mission to protect a world. And then what? On the other hand, the test succeeds, sending Otto to finally carry out his mission. And then this is when he finally went for his final thing. Finally went for his final plan. He didn't tell Durandal nothing. He was trying to just get his girl back. I don't understand why he went through all. He could have communicated a lot of this. He sent Durandal to greet Teresa. He manipulated them with reverse psychology before and behind closed doors. When Durandal realized Otto had sacrificed the world, to resurrect Colin, she decided to challenge Otto, even if it was had to resort to force. Durandal defied the Overseers for the first time in her life. After entrusting the Bubble Universe to Rita, she finally took on Otto. And I imagine she got waxed. Because did Otto really lose? Interrupted her by starting the fight, having the upper hand. Durandal defeated him temporarily as he ascended to false godhood and exiled Durandal to Kozlana's Stigma space. Complex, chaotic, endless, in a stigma space. Waves of fragmented memories nearly drowned the girl. At that moment, she learned her past. She felt conflicted, not for her own sake, She remembered Siegfried, who lived with regret, and she remembered the seasoned warriors who inherited the Kazlana name. She accepted her fate without qualm, but if it affected those she recognized and admired, it is another matter. Perhaps her life began with a lie, but her actions were part of the overseer's grander design. But she's never been anyone's pawn. Every choice she made was of her own will. Every path she had walked on was a treasure in life. Whichever name she goes by, Bianca or Durandal, Kazlana, or whatever, she is a hot-blooded Valkyrie who fights for all that is beautiful in the world, was, is, and will always be. Her mind is unconfused, for she is confident that she will march on firmly in the journey ahead. She will uphold her duty until the day humanity triumphs over Honkai. And every day that follows. See, now I really like Durandal's Chronicle. It's chef's kiss, and I learned a lot. I really like Durandal, and I think after everything that I've seen about her, I'm just liking her more. And maybe that's just because I'm a Kiana stan, and just hearing that there's another aspect of Kiana to learn about is really cool to me. Let's get into the last one. Let's get into this last one. And again, I'm sorry for the voice that I have to put on. Really not trying to wake the house up, but really want to get this content done. The last one we're watching is the Herrscher of Reason, Bronya's Chronicle. Let's just get into it. Now, Bronya's is kind of a lot. I do know that because it goes through 3 generations. The Herrscher of Reason's story dates back to the first eruption in 1952. A young man who had lost his memory was found in the epicenter of a disaster. He was extracted by Shisco and identified as a Herrscher. After 3 years of painful experiments, a young man made it to the end by writing with his pen pal Clown Zero. In 1955, he was transferred to several labs. He was taken to Lab 42 led by Einstein and Tesla. He met the 2 scientists there. Wait, is Einstein and Tesla women? I just realized that. That just clicked in my head. You're telling me that Einstein and Tesla in this universe are women? That's fire, but like, why? What made you do that change? I'm actually intrigued. He met the 2 scientists there and was given the name symbolized the world and freedom, Welt Joyce. Joyce indeed spent some peaceful days after that and became the lab assistant and developed close friendships with the 2 scientists. On the journey to seek Solium later, Joyce also met many other friends. Perhaps it was the peaceful and comfortable days that gave him the courage to stand up in the face of the inevitable fate and protect what's good and beautiful. At the end of the journey, Joyce and his friends found the 9th divine key, the Star of Eden. Now, this is my first question. How many keys are there? How many keys? Tell me right now, how many keys are there? Because I heard the first 2 keys. I'm thinking maybe there's 3, 4 keys, maybe. This man found the 9th one. Is this like pieces of Eden? Is this something I need to get used to? Some pieces of Eden shit? Let me know. Nevertheless, Edison's lab had been an accident afterwards, and Dr. Schwarzenegger had been affected with Honkai, and such a dire. Joyce stepped in bravely. He responded to power resting within him and chose to protect. Okay, so then my question is, if he's a Herrscher, can I pause? Why am I having such a hard time pausing? If he's a Herrscher of Reason, is he the reason? He's the Herrscher of Reason. Is he the reason? Sorry. Is he the reason for the big explosion that he was found at? Like the whole 1952 destroyed city? Is he the reason? Like, I understand when they get their Herrscher abilities, they usually cause some sort of damage. So was that his fault? I'm probably asking a redundant question, but I still want to know. Resounding voice for thousands of minds in the Herrscher. Welt Joyce harnessed the Herrscher's core in his body, and the Hints became the first Herrscher to have fought for humanity in the current era. However, after solving, the real mastermind emerged, who turned out to be Otto Apocalypse, who's also his pen pal. Oh, that's crazy. Turned out to be yeah, so that's crazy. That's actually pretty evil. Everybody that had to embrace themselves for 500 years of darkness, but the Herrscher of Reason did not want to surrender that fate and upset the plans of the Shitskull tyrant. As a retaliant, Otto fired Honkai missile bombs at Welt City and to annihilate all potential threats once and for all. To protect the civilians, Welt sacrificed himself to activate the power of the Herrscher, a giant dome, to protect the whole city, but he lost his life in the process. Joyce's friends left Shitskull, and they started the Serpent. Oh no, founded anti-entropy. So you're telling me that Einstein and Tesla started the anti-entropy? That's interesting. That's interesting. That's really interesting. But I know he loses his life. I know this is the story of everybody in this. The second Herrscher of Reason was named okay. In 1955, the city that Welt Joyce once was protected, a young inherited the Herrscher of Reason's core. So he gave him the core, but to a kid who's too big of shoes to fill to protect humanity. But he traveled far and met many ordinary people who bravely, protected him. So he saw the good faith in human, the fate in people. Was agony or burden to habit? As a successor of the Herrscher of Reason's core, he began to be driven by a strong faith. See, the words just disappeared in a decade that followed. Welt Yang. Basically, I know Welt Yang started trying to save the world. In the second eruption in 2000, when he fought Siren, Welt Yang challenged Honkai on the behalf of humanity. He wielded the Herrscher of Reason's authority and dealt a heavy blow to the second Herrscher, who was Siren, correct? Yeah, Siren. And at this point, she had become the god of the moon. Humanity, nevertheless, to protect his companions in the whole world, Welt Yang never yielded, taking on every battle, risking his life. He stood at 300,000 minds in the Herrscher core. 300,000, the cream of the human civilization. 300,000, that's crazy. In 2016, to find a way to end Honkai, Welt Yang conducted an experiment in the Eye of the Deep, but was trapped in the Sea of Quanta. Okay. There he met a most powerful fighter from the previous era, Kevin. The fighter had gone through too much that his willpower became indestructible. Kevin wanted to go back to the real world, to use the worst method to help human civilization overcome Honkai. Now, what is the worst method? And Welt Yang could not agree to his plan. So what is the worst method? As a Herrscher of Reason, okay, he tried their best to live on. Facing the powerful fighter from the previous era, Welt Yang became a shield, keeping the Sea of Quanta in the real world or out of the real world? From the real world, okay. Meanwhile, he left the last trial behind for goodwill, waiting for his successor, sharing his same vision and faith. And that's when Bronya got the ability while fighting in that little blue area. The third Herrscher of Reason is Bronya. And we know the story of Bronya, ex-mercenary. He went into an orphanage. Went to an orphanage, met Seal, then lost Seal, became a murderous tyrant, planted a seed. The seed named protection in her heart. Before long, however, Seal decided to protect Bronya by volunteering as the X-10 and was trapped in the Sea of Quanta. And that's why Bronya did the same one, but couldn't save Seal. When they had parted from each other, they had made a promise to be reunited. And it was fundamental motivation driving Bronya to carry on. In 2014, the third eruption befell Nagazora. This is when Mai got her powers, right? When Bronya met Kiana and Mei, things were difficult, but the three of them started bonding with each other and became close friends. Therefore, Bronya abandoned her mission of Kokaliya to protect the two close friends and everything they cherish. And I respect that. Bronya realized I have two friends here that I can help, or I can just keep going on this mission trying to save Seal, who might not be alive at the time. Becoming Valkyries at St. Freya High School, the seed of protection began to sprout in Bronya's heart yet again. It was also when she and her friends vowed to fight for all that was in this beautiful world. In 2016, they accepted a mission to find the Gem of Desire. Is this when they so the gem? So this is when they're on their mission to get the 7 gems for Durandal, who would fix the sword and destroy the walls of Asgard. Correct? I hope I'm right about that. Who had been implanted with the gem was Valkyrie Wendy. When he went to go get it, that's when Bronya's brain chip went off that was put in her by Kokaliya. And they had to fight Bronya, who then burnt the chip out of her head. Yep, to protect the cherished friends, Bronya burned out the chip in her brain. Put herself in a coma. Okay, respect. Fortunately, Fuha offered a hand to Bronya and started a trial in her dreams and made up her mind to never again dodge the mistakes she made and to stride towards a new future. So Fuha sent her in dream trials to help her wake up. Okay, I like that. But Otto already masterminded the awakening of Siren. Okay. So he wanted to awaken Siren, which he successfully did, and then that's when Himiko went to go fight her. Himiko saved her while dying, inherited the Star of Eden from... Oh, okay, she inherited that. So that's why she was so OP'd. Okay, to Bronya. Though she had no idea what Star of Eden stood for, she wielded it like Welt did, to resolutely protect her friends. Her future then became closely connected to Herrscher of Reason's spirit. In 2017, they retrieved the lost Gem of Desire and saved close friends. Bronya dived into the Sea of Quanta, where she passed the trial of Welt Yang, the last one he left. Kindness, determination, integrity, and protection. Okay, and that's when she got her abilities. These were the key words defining Bronya's fate in the 3 bubble universes. Okay, eventually Bronya became the 3rd Herrscher of Reason to fight for humanity. So you're telling me all these Valkyries are Herrschers too? A lot of these Valkyries are Herrschers? Is crazy. We got one more story arc for her? One more part of her story? Upon inheriting the Herrscher of Reason's core, she began to learn from Welt Yang. Unlike her predecessor, she didn't inherit the Welt name. To the Bronya at that time, the legacy of the priest's 2 Welts were too heavy. Okay. Even without the Welt name, however, Bronya had been fulfilling the faith of protection all along the whole time. Meanwhile, the world entered a chaotic period. This is when Otto Apocalypse started trying to seize power in October of 2017. He wanted to revive Colin by resetting the whole world. And that's when everybody was like, alright, we gotta go bag him up. We gotta go beat his ass. Oh, that is fire. I wanted to hear about Teresa too. I'm excited of her. And then that's when he became a false god. He ascended to false godhood. Facing the light curtain of binding, Bronya embraced something. These words are so fast. Witnessing by 300,000 minds, she lived up to the Herrscher of Reason's legacy. and she finished her part of it. Through mental psych, Bronya fully unleashed the Herrscher of Reason's power and constructed an array of Selenians to break barriers and open the path for her friends to forge ahead. So she basically did a lot of the heavy lifting. A future path of the Herrscher of Reason stretched to her feet. After the story, after beating, Mai defeated the Herrscher of Corruption with the 13 Flame Chasers from Allegiance realm. Therefore, finality became the last Herrscher human civilization had to face. Kevin and the World Serpents officially launched Project Stigma. Basically, World Serpents put the human civilization above humanity. At this moment, Valkyries were confronted the World Serpent's human code, Hera. To Valkyries, Hera was the opponent that had to vanquish before facing Kevin. But to Bronya, she was more than an opponent. Hera was born and cursed with the mark of Project Stigma. Why does the words disappear? Where are the words? Hera was special, but she was also extremely similar yet different. Therefore she was the opponent that Bronya had to defeat and transcend to fight against a special enemy on the moon. Bronya showed her the faith of the Herrscher of Reason. The Welt name was admirable and the 300,000 minds were worth remembering forever. But to defeat the present, one doesn't dwell in the power of the past. To march to the future, you must have faith in our own way of passing the legacy of the Herrscher of Reason. The will of the predecessor, the trust of friends, and the support of everyone converged to let the young girl ascend the Herrscher of Truth. She is Bronya, the young girl interpreting. So Bronya is no longer the Herrscher of Reason, she's now the Herrscher of Truth. I like that. Well, if you did enjoy, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more me, Venom. And if you know or if you just don't know, click that Discord link down below. I know this is a really weird video. It's late. I'm whispering in your ear like an ASMR video. It's not going to be like this all the time. It is now almost midnight. See y'all tomorrow with another great video. Yeah.